Here comes a likely candidate now.
Do you suppose this one has what it takes?
Contain your hopes, but let's find out.
I've been wondering when you'd show up on...
Behold.
Okay, so some of you are having trouble completing VMA. This is how I do it on my sword. Not the best. I don't think I'm the best. Far from it, but here's how I do it. My usual rotation is Elemental Blockade, Book of Lightning, Curse, Silver Tailor Bar, Force Pulse. Sometimes I hit an entropy beforehand to get a little bit of extra damage. Let's Force Pulse back and forth with light attacks, and then as soon as that frag is ready, toss the frag. I missed that rotation a little bit there. Going to want to, at least the way I have it set up, Force Pulse, light attack, as soon as that frag is ready, entropy, and frag. Gives that frag a little bit extra damage. And as you can see, I a lot of times forget to do that, so I'm not perfect on that. I have Overload set up just for some extra skills, and also to occasionally get abilities back. I haven't set up my Overload bar yet at the moment, so this is the wrong setup. So for next round, or next arena, I'll have to get that fixed. And this is just round 1, so everything is kind of easy, so you don't really need to worry about getting perfect rotations off, but I really should get more in the habit of doing that, because it's sloppy, and then when you get into a critical situation, you fuck up. So on my back bar here, I do have LE Drain, or whatever the morph that gives you magic back is. And I really just use it for a little bit extra recovery. And the entropy is nice for restoring health. You could swap in Power Surge instead of using it, which I will have that on my overload bar once I get that fixed. But this does two things. It does damage and it does healing, as well as if you're not using spell power pots, it gives you the extra spell power, which obviously Power Surge does that as well. But I like it because it adds that one extra thing of doing extra damage on top of the other things it does. Obviously, you'll get more health regen, or just not really regen, but more health back from using the Power Surge. So it's a choice there you'll need to make. It is nice though because it does synergize well and add a little bit extra max magic due to the Mage's Guild perks, and that 20% extra damage is a nice plus too. So it kind of does the what two different abilities would do. Having Mage Light there, you would generally use that to pop that before you drop a meteor, so you get that extra bit of damage from your meteor. But then you don't have an ability on there for regenerating health, so it does really what obviously no extra crit from it, but I like it because it does two things. once you get used to it, it's not really that difficult, especially on Max Sword. Some of the other classes are a bit more challenging, so.
You do a bit.
So the way I like to have my overload bar set up is to have a shield there, have a execute there, and Endless Fury is nice because the point I use overload for is to regain magic, and that regains magic, you know, in addition to your overload bolts themselves. Like putting Surge there, and Inner Light there. Just want to get the most amount of damage out of those overloads if you actually do use them. So the Inner Light is going to increase your max magic, which is going to increase your overload damage. So that's why I like having it set up. Generally, I pop this bar when I'm trying to do an execute, and just spam Endless Fury. Hit that, animation cancel, keep on going and doing that until whatever you're trying to kill is dead. And if you need to get a little magic back at that point, you could always toss a few overload bolts. Mainly if you're in a boss fight, you know, that's pretty useful there. But for the most part, I do like using Meteor as my ultimate. I use the version that gets ultimate for everything hit, because especially if you drop it on a mob, if the mob is large enough, you can just rapid fire meteors. Drop one, drop one, drop one after another until everything is no more. And also the benefit of using Meteor is that you can drop it and then you can go back to DPSing. Whereas if you go into Overload, yeah, the Overload bolts do a ton of damage, but that's all you're doing. Whereas you can drop Meteor and you can have that damage passively just tick away at the enemy while you're still doing all your normal rotation. So you don't have to lose any DPS at all.